Let's talk more about this move and how consumers will be further impacted by the Reserve Bank's decision. We've got Farzana Botha, who is the Segment Solutions Manager at Sanlam. Farzana, thank you for joining us this evening. Now, consumers are currently feeling very stretched. And now with this announcement that we had to watch today, how do they now cope with the higher increases that have been announced?
Fortunately, it's quite a blow, even though we knew it was coming. And like you said, this is the 6th consecutive interest rate hike that we've seen since last year, November. Though we know it's coming, when it actually happens to us and we start to see the impact on our budget, it can be quite stressful for the consumer. And we found that stress is something that all our consumers are trying to manage at this time. So it's definitely a negative impact. However, as I've said in previous interviews, there's opportunity in the market that the consumers can leverage off. So all of our South Africans need to put themselves in a position to come out through this in a better position going forward and to leverage off the opportunities where we are experiencing such threats.
Yeah. So how will this practically affect those who currently have debt, whether it be a car or a bond? I mean, I myself recently took out a bond and I'm thinking I should probably give it right back to the bank.
Look, we just have to write it out. We've had, as Minister Kanyako said, it's starting to normalize to sort of your pre-COVID levels. So you do have to sort of write it out and you need to budget and plan for these things. There are opportunities for you to have a chat with the bank and see, could you have fixed your interest rate on your loans? So as you were saying, what is the practical implication for every area of debt that you're servicing? Whatever you were budgeting towards that debt means that you now have to budget a few rands extra for every 100 rand that you have as a loan. So your budget is now under strong pressure, which means that you're going to have to take a look, a very strong, hard look. And just like the minister is doing, he understands the circumstances and the situations that the South Africans are facing. But the biggest situation is the inflation rate. So South Africans need to take that lesson into their homes and see what can we do, even in our own position, to try and curb the expenses that we have, the debt that we're servicing, so that when we come through this in a better position financially, and we are not faced with this situation again in the future.
Now, it's a difficult thing to imagine, Farzana, and I'll tell you why. So we saw inflation print coming in this week. Overall headline inflation did increase, but food inflation is still on the rise. So when we think about the rate of inflation that we're currently dealing with and now the interest rates, coming up with an alternative budget that meets all these demands is quite difficult at this stage.
Absolutely. And I think that's where there's opportunity for you to partner with someone, partner with a professional, a financial coach, speak to the people around you, even collectively. I mean, we're in South Africa, we have a collectivist culture. So there's opportunities in bulk buying and leveraging of your collective resources to try and navigate the stretched budgets that we're now experiencing. But that's not taking anything away from the consumer at this point. It is a very difficult situation, but we need to draw on the resilience and the collectivism as a country and see how can we maybe buy more efficiently, how can we buy at the right times of the month, how can we bulk buy to reduce our expenditure, where can we delay gratification, where if we were going to buy something now, can we maybe buy it later instead of financing it? So those are the kind of points of view that we need to take, considering our landscape is so much more different than it's ever been in the last couple of years.
And as we've just been talking about, you and I, that interest rate has been increasing consecutively since November last year. Are there any benefits of these increases to South Africans? Perhaps if you find that there are serial savers who put money into investment portfolios, would they be benefiting from increases of this nature perhaps?
Exactly. So every time there's a threat, there's also opportunity. So the downside was that the debt we're servicing comes at a higher price now. But for those consumers who are investing in the market, even your money market rate of return will be better now. So if you have the opportunity to put a little bit of money away into certain financial instruments or vehicles or funds, those will give you a better rate of return in a rising interest rate market like we're seeing now. So there are certain places that a consumer can benefit from, definitely.
And for yourself, who operates in the financial services segment or industry, are you concerned with engaging with your stakeholders that there are going to be more short-term credit offerings that are going to be popping up from unsecured lenders, and because consumers are desperate, this is something that they may be turning to more so than they have been over the last 2 years before the pandemic?
So it's something that we're very much aware of, that we've preempted even through the COVID period. And as part of our solutions within the Sanlam cluster, we have credit solutions. So we have considered that certain consumers need to manage their finance through taking out loans to provide consolidation for debt and to put them in a better position. So a loan can be a useful tool if used in the correct way and if they have advice and if they have a goal. So we are aware of that, and we are providing the right resources and tools and education to allow consumers to make educated decisions and access the kind of loans that will get them to the end goal, which is ultimately to be more financially free.
Thank you very much. Very interesting insights. Farzana Botha, who's a Segment Solutions Manager at Sanlam, joining us this evening to unpack the direct implications for you, the consumer, and that, of course, is on the back of the interest rate hike of 75 basis points that has been announced by Governor Lesetja Kganyago earlier on this afternoon.